Should you buy the brand new Mova P10 Pro Gen 2? Well, the simple answer is yes. And here are the couple reasons why you should buy it. First of all, if you're concerned about privacy, a lot of robot vacuum cleaners have video cameras on the front, and sometimes you can turn that on or off. But if you want a robot vacuum cleaner that does not have a camera on it, even though that may look like a camera, that is just an obstacle avoidance sensor. The Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 does not have a camera. Reason number 2, if you're wanting a robot vacuum cleaner that has spinning mop pads that can clean your floors really good by mopping, the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 is the one to get. Now let me tell you why is that important and how does it do that? Well, the Gen 2 can push the mop pads down. Most robots do push the mop pads down while they're spinning. The Gen 2 actually uses 12 newtons. I'm not sure exactly how it does it, but what I do know is the dirty water tank compared to the Gen 1, which doesn't do this, had more dirt in it. So there's something to it pushing the mop pads down on the floor. Now, I don't think it's pushing them down to a point where it could damage your floor, but it is pushing the mop pads down to help scrub your floor. The mop pads are super soft, but they do have to capture the dirt and take it back to the base station. Now, there's also a third reason. The base station washes the mop pads with really hot water. If you've ever washed dishes at home, wash your hands, you kind of want the water super hot. It does help clean. And there's special heating pads on the dock station that as the water is being circulated on the mop pad, it's actually heating the water up to help get the dirt off of the mop pad. There's also a fourth reason. The docking station actually shoots water up into the mop pad, where some of the base stations, the water just trickles down and the mop pad gets wet and scrubs. This one's actually being shot up into the mop pad to help release some of that dirt. So I'll go into some more reasons. It's got LiDAR navigation. That's the number one thing that I recommend all robots to have. A couple years ago, that was not the case. Not all robots had LiDAR navigation. Pretty much nowadays, they all have the spinning LiDAR on top. That's going to navigate your home the best, map your home the best. Again, that's the number one feature that thankfully most robot vacuum cleaners have right now. It's got a carpet sensor. Not all robot vacuum cleaners have a carpet sensor. So whenever it senses carpet, it's going to raise the mop pads to help prevent your carpet from getting wet. There's also a setting in the app that you can set it to vacuum first and then mop, so that even though the mop pads are raised, they're not wet. Now, it doesn't go over super tall thresholds. It does leave nice straight lines whenever it's vacuuming your home. Now, if this is your first time getting a robot vacuum cleaner, I do recommend the Mova P10 Pro Gen 1. It doesn't have some of these features that I'm talking about that I like the Gen 2 so much about, but its price point. Being an older robot, typically the price is typically $100 to $150 cheaper. That's a great robot vacuum cleaner to jump in. But if you're willing to spend a little bit more money for better mopping, and if you're worried about privacy, the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 is a great one. Now, what are some reasons that maybe, there are some things that I didn't like about it. They removed an advanced feature called dirt detection sensor in the base station, which I thought was going to be a bigger deal than it was. But since the robot mops so much better now, the dirty water tank was full of dirty water all the time. What's the second thing that when it was at my home for 3 months, while the sensor on the front, it's got LiDAR navigation. The sensor on the front also, while helps avoid obstacles like dog waste or a toy or a cable, it also helps with navigating just around your house in general. The sensor on the front is not as accurate as the Gen 1, let's say, or some other robots. So while the P10 Gen 2 did not get stuck a bunch at my home, like stuck on cables and stuck in places I was constantly have to go get it, that wasn't the case. What was the case is it wasn't as efficient. So when the robot was cleaning my home, it would take a little bit longer. The cleaning pattern was a little bit what I want to call different than the Gen 1. It kind of went around chairs maybe a little bit more, or it kind of went into another room at a different angle. So it used a little bit more battery. It used a little bit more water for its cleaning, just because the obstacle avoidance sensor wasn't able to it navigated my home. It just wasn't efficient. So while I'm not saying it was bad, it just wasn't as good as it could have been. Now, the last thing, and maybe I should have led with this, is cost of ownership. While these robots give us time back in our life, we do have to do some maintenance on them. At my home, I don't vacuum my home and I don't mop it. But every month, month and a half, sometimes 2 months, I let it go. We do have to replace mop pads, change out brush rollers. There's a very important filter in the dustbin that we've got to clean. There's dust bags we got to change, dirty water tanks we got to clean. So what's really nice about the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2, it takes the same parts as the Gen 1. The Gen 1's been around a while, and guess what? We've got lots of manufacturers that are making parts. Lots of generic parts. Now, I bought over, looks like about 8 or 10 generic. They got really weird names. I opened them up, I tried them. Unfortunately, while I've got about 8 different manufacturers of parts here, not all of them are very good. I did find one where we can save a bunch of money. Now, the OEMs have parts for these. Dreamy and Mova typically aren't super expensive for their OEM parts. Now, Mova parts can be a little hard to find just by the Dreamy equivalent. This is the same robot as the Dreamy L40. A lot of times I buy the Dreamy parts. But so while we can't use all the generic parts that I bought, I did find one. It's called the KTNA. Weird name. It even comes with the tri-cut brush, which is the #1 upgrade for this robot for pet hair. Its mop pads were actually pretty close to the OEM. Same with the dust bags, same with the filters. So a great kit. That's not the case on some of the newer Roborocks. There's generic parts. They're just not very good. So my website's going to be the best place to find the parts that I highly recommend, because right now, cost of ownership for the Mova P10 Pro Gen 2 ranges from $11 to about, I think what it was, $20 compared to generic, compared to OEM every month. So that's another reason why I love this. It's been around a while because the Gen 1 takes the same parts. So we've got lots of generic, but some of the generic aren't very good. But at least I did find some that actually do work really well that we can save some money on. So again, check out my website, justadadapproved.com. And that's another reason why this Just a Dad Approved sticker means so much. I'm a dad. I like to save money. I want to get you a robot vacuum cleaner that A, you're not going to return because it's kind of a hassle. So then you just got lost time. B, it's actually going to give you time back. But also we can save some parts. We can save some money maintaining this robot. So again, justadadapproved.com. If it's got my sticker seal of approval, it's been through my testing process. I've got all kinds of videos on it to explain my testing process. This is just a quick video. Should you buy the Mova P10 Pro? Actually, you should. It's actually a very good robot vacuum cleaner. So again, check out my website, justadadapproved.com. I am an affiliate with Amazon. If you click on a product on my website or on this video description, I am an affiliate. I will earn a commission from that link. I do appreciate it. I've purchased over 200 robot vacuum cleaners. And again, consider this a recommendation that I would recommend my friends and family. That Mova P10 Pro right there, I have personally recommended that to over 6 of my very close friends and family. And guess what? If I recommend a robot vacuum cleaner that A, they're not going to be able to set up, B, doesn't do a very good job, C, breaks, who are they going to call? They're going to call me. I'm probably going to have to go help them. I'm going to feel terrible for doing that. They're not going to think very highly of me. So the Mova P10 Pro is a robot vacuum cleaner that I have highly recommended. I've checked in with those people. They all say it's doing great. There was a few minor setup issues that I was able to help them walk them through. They were able to watch my setup video that helped them. But after that, they actually loved it. And they're saying they're getting time back in their life. Their robot vacuum cleaners are vacuuming and mopping their house. So again, thanks everybody. Check out the website. More videos coming. This is what I do for a living. I review robot vacuum cleaners. This is home of the honest review. I purchased these robot vacuum cleaners with my own money. I'm not paid for this video. I earn my money by commissions through links. But here's the thing about commissions and links. I don't get that commission for 60 days. So if I recommend a robot vacuum cleaner that's not very good, hard to set up, and you don't think does a very good job, you're going to return it. And if you end up returning it, I don't get the commission. So it does me no good to recommend robots that are not very good or super expensive that maybe don't live up to the expense. While there are robots that are super expensive, this is just a great price point to jump into. So again, justadadapproved.com. If you could, please like, subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video.